Welcome back to Homestead. The roosters are crowing. It's early morning and I'm out in my garden here. So let's talk about cabbage. This is going to be a video all about cabbage, and I discovered something this morning that is mind-blowing. I want you guys to check out. We're going to be in the kitchen a little bit later on. So my cabbages here are almost ready. I have early Jersey Wakefield. I have late flat Dutch. Those are not ready. Golden acre cabbage, red acre cabbage. Now, I'm going to tell you that the golden acre is my favorite, and the reason being is because they're making a traditional head. The early Jersey Wakefield make cone heads. I'm not a fan of that. They're earlier than the golden acre, but they're running neck and neck. So I'm going to pull the camera down and let you guys see this, but what I want to show you today is I intercropped. I've shown you videos on this. I will never plant any other way. I'm standing here intercropped right now. Briscoe the cat. These are contender bush beans beside cabbage and kale. In between my cabbages on this one row, I planted yellow squash that's coming up. But the cabbages are growing because of the bush beans throwing nitrogen, and they're shading out my squash and they're shading out my bush beans. So I need to do something about this. What can I do? We have never been taught how to prune cabbages, but I'm going to show you today. You really ought to think about pruning your cabbage. This is what I'm doing personally, because it takes so long for a cabbage to make a head. When a cabbage is growing, it grows its huge leaves. I'll come out here every day and the leaves get bigger and bigger, the outer leaves. I'm not using those outer leaves. I want the head. That's the tenderest part. But today, I've decided to use the outer leaves. So prune it, because it will force this plant to try to bolt. It won't be growing towards that leaf anymore that's on the outside. It'll try to grow towards the head and make it bigger. That way it can bolt and reseed itself. That's the natural life cycle of the plant. So if you want the head of the cabbage to get bigger, quicker, prune your cabbage. Second of all, it shades the ground, these leaves. And that's a good thing if you don't want weeds, but it's also a bad thing if you've got slugs and pests. Get those leaves up off the ground just like a squash or zucchini, and it will decrease pest problems. It's excellent. So let me show you, instead of tossing these leaves into this bed and letting them decompose, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Now this right here is a late flat Dutch. That means it's going to form later than the rest. This here is a late flat Dutch. It's got some pest pressure. You can see how small it is. It's nowhere near ready. So let's move on down towards the other ones. See my squash there? I've got to get these pruned. That's that huge kale plant that I showed y'all in the video Friday. And look, he's already ready to pick again. I've never seen anything like this in my life. I have not done anything to this garden except side dress it with chicken and duck manure twice. This is all the bush beans. We've got a request about a chicken manure video and how we use it, because a lot of people have been told, don't use it on your garden. We're going to throw that out to you guys tomorrow, okay? I may film it this afternoon if I can. Now let's get back to the cabbage. Y'all have been seeing this one in my videos. This right here is the golden acre. This is what I love. He's grown a good bit since Friday. He's almost there. That's golden acre. That's golden acre. Let me get on over here to it. And I'm sorry there's a shadow. It's the way the sun is. See the head? He's not quite ready. He's still soft. You want it firm. He's soft, but he's getting there. That's a golden acre with a little bit of pest pressure. This right here is your early, oh, don't let me step on that squash. Woo! Early Jersey Wakefield. See that cone? I would say he's just about ready. It's a huge cone that comes up. All the rest of these, if you can see, those are early Jersey Wakefield with a cone head. That is a Savoy. They are late, like the red acre here. Late. Nowhere near ready as the other ones. But guys, this is beautiful. That is the most beautiful cabbage ever to me. That and that red acre. I'm going to leave these in the garden because I think they're so beautiful and I want to see how they do. And this is just one bed of cabbage. He is almost ready. In fact, I may pick him today. That is an early Jersey Wakefield. See the cone head? He does not make a round head. There's early Jersey. Squash. Okay, so if you can see here, let me pan out. On this early Jersey, see the leaves? They're shading my bush beans. So is that broccoli leaf. I'm going to grab him. They're shading it a little bit over here. So what I'm going to do, we've got that squash. I'm gonna check my leaves first. I'm gonna take this leaf and I'm gonna pull it up. See that bush bean up under it? Break it off. Pruning the cabbage. That's a humongous cabbage leaf. I'm gonna grab another one here. Break it off from the bottom, okay? Not the top, the bottom. And I'm gonna lay these on top of that and keep going around and pruning back there. That way it opens up. Everything gets a little sunlight now. Let's do one more over here. And that is forcing it to make a head. Especially towards the end of the cycle, this cannot hurt. Now I wouldn't do this on young plants. Do this on established plants. Look at that. Look at the difference already. Let's see, I see a couple more over here I could get. Those are some tender leaves from the bottom. See that? Some young ones. It just keeps, we don't need that. We don't want that. We want the head here. So I'm just gonna keep picking. I'm gonna grab one more. Okay. Now, I just harvested 5-6 leaves off that. Look at the difference in the space. There's my squash. I'm gonna start on this one next. That's my golden acre over here. The golden acre leaves are a lot bigger than the early Jersey Wakefield. I mean, these are humongous. Briscoe, are you in my pea patch? Oh, look at that. The stem. Look at all the space that just opened up. And it's great for suppressing weeds, but we need to do something about this. And we're phasing out this garden. So we need to get in here and take care of business. Okay, there's that. A few more, let's keep going. Now look at all the space between those bush beans, and I've got to get a hold of this broccoli. I am getting too late on that one. He's getting ready to bolt. I've got to get him today. Tonight we're gonna have broccoli and cheese for supper. So I'm gonna keep working on these plants. But if you can see here, see the space that's opening up? Y'all like my Irish socks? Okay. Just like that. Don't throw these away. I'm gonna show you what to do with them. All right, guys, so I ran inside with all of the cabbage leaves. That's what these are. They're washed. I've got a counter full over here off of just probably 10 plants. I haven't even picked the other half of my raised beds. So these leaves, what me and my husband have been doing with success, we made bowls. Like put this in a bowl, put some deer meat on top of it, some cheese, some salsa, and beans, and made like a taco bowl. Well, that's fine and well, but you've got a problem. You've got the stem here. You can cut that out, but it doesn't want to bend. So if you're wanting to make a wrap, I guess you can, but you're going to have that huge stem. It's just hard to make a wrap that way. So let me tell you something that I just experimented with, and I've still got my supplies sitting out. I'm going to show you guys. I love boiled cabbage, or fried cabbage in a skillet with a little olive oil. I tried that with these leaves, and it was more like collards. If you plant cabbage, don't plant collards. There's no point if you're going to do it this way. These leaves are identical to collards, identical. So I didn't want that really. I can save them, but you know, I don't want just collards or that taste. They're too big to put in the freezer. They're too big. I need to do something with them. So let me tell you about what I just did. What I did a while ago is I made coleslaw. And let me tell you, the taste is there. It's pungent, but it's good. So let me show you how I did it. So, and this is not a recipe online. It's just what I come up with, okay? So let me move my bowl out right here so you can see what I'm doing. I've got the cabbage leaf. What I'm going to do, if there's a lot of pest pressure, I'm going to cut around it. Take your spine out like that. Throw that to your chickens. See, this is why I said it's not good to make a wrap, because you've got this huge spine in the cabbage leaf. So I'm going to save it over there for the chickens. So now you've got this, kind of like I showed you with the kale. Take it, roll it over. Now after it's been washed really well, remember a lot of these have been on the ground. Take it and roll it as tight as you can. This is what I did, so I didn't have to mess up a cheese grater as a shredder or anything else. Make thin slices. Very thin. Thin as you can. It's going to go quick. to make it reminiscent of shredded cabbage. Okay, so remember, if you're going to freeze this for later use, take your shredded cabbage, put it in bags, and put it in your freezer. That's it, okay? Then you add all this stuff later once you thaw out the cabbage leaves. But we've got this right here, so I'm going to show you how to make it and how I made it. So I'm going to start with some mayonnaise. I'm eyeballing all this, okay? I am just eyeballing it. I'm on a pretty good bit, probably a cup to do this. This is how I'm making it. Now, I'm not going to add onion. You certainly could. I'm just not. So, there's that. And I'll set him to the side just in case I need more. I don't have too much. Now, I'm going to add pepper. You want pepper with coleslaw. Pretty good bit. Salt. I've got Himalayan pink salt. I really like to use that. Just a little bit. I'm going to use 2 spoonfuls of sugar. Okay, about a tablespoon. You want it kind of sweet. And then apple cider vinegar. I'm just going to eyeball it again. Okay. Now, we're going to mix all this up. This is the hardest part, trying to mix it. If y'all can see there. It's going to be strong. Again, this is not like the head of the cabbage where it's just bland and mild. This is pungent, but it's good with all these spices. When I made it this morning, I've got a whole bowl in the fridge. I said, y'all, this is good. This is surprisingly good. So just kind of stir it around. If you had some tongs, that would be even better to kind of pick up and lift because it's hard to get it mixed in. You have to kind of sit here and work it. And you could go back, you could add onion, you could add carrot, you could add raisins, you could add whatever that you use to your coleslaw normally. I'm just using something out of the garden that would be a normal waste product. But I'm helping my cabbage form heads by doing this and pruning them. I'm putting a side dish on the table. And I'm leaving 0 waste. Y'all, it's flying all over me. So just keep mixing it. I may have a little bit too much mayonnaise. If you do, go back and add another cabbage leaf. Okay. It'll all work out in the end. And it's crunchy as it can be. Now, if you shredded it, it would be a lot thinner than mine. But I've just got what I got. Okay, guys. There you go. There's cabbage coleslaw by using the leaves. Again, if you use the head, it would be totally different. It would be a lot sweeter. This is pungent, but it's good to me. So try it, see if you like it. Hey, it doesn't hurt. We'll see you guys next time on Homestead.